I come to you on behalf of the Board of Conveners of the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalist Alliance for Self-Determination, NINAS, to speak to an extraordinarily important subject at this time. We'll be looking at the 3 blocks in the alliance of NINAS and 2 compartments in each of these 3 blocks, because the enemy is at our door. This is not the time to go making mistakes or acting in ignorance or naivety, and this address is to look at what we're doing in each of these 3 blocks to provide some cohesion, some synchronization of the energies towards the goal. And on a general note, let us clarify, because there are inquiries that have been coming to us concerning where the alliance, there are some people that have been creating the impression that the alliance we have built, we painstakingly built over the last 22 years, is now to be used to acquire power, to now go and solve the problem. Some of our own associates, unfortunately, are involved in this impression. South and Middle Belt Leadership Forum, I would say that their pursuit as far as going to acquire power at this time, they think their thesis, in our understanding, I'm speaking on behalf of NINAS now, the alliance of the South and the Middle Belt that is working for self-determination. The other people are thinking that that same alliance of South and Middle Belt should work together and go and get power. So they are after political power, on partisan politics that will yield power, from where they will not go and repair the union when they win power. That's what they say. NINAS is not at all on that page. With NINAS is a body of statesmen that are pursuing the recovery of our hijacked sovereignty, that is self-determination. So while the other people are pursuing after power, we are after our freedom. We are after self-determination. So we wanted to make that clear on a preliminary basis. We then come down to the 3 blocks in the alliance. Like you can see in the map here. Let me begin with the eastern half of southern Nigeria, the one we call the Lower Niger. That's the south, and southeast as a block of distinct nationalities. Ijaw knows where their land begins and where it ends, and the self-determination we're talking about applies to Ijaw on Ijaw land, Ogoni on Ogoni land. Nobody is going to be in any position to dictate to anybody else. It will be, a block bound by a charter of relationships, freely negotiated by, whatever will happen thereafter. The first order of business is to recover our sovereignty from Nigeria. We can't recover it as Ogoni acting alone, or Shekiri acting alone, or Isoko acting alone, or Igbo acting alone. Every other approach is going to be problematic. In fact, will fail, except we find the wisdom, like we have found, to organize internal cohesion, so that the small Isoko, small Ogoni, small Ishekiri can stand shoulder to shoulder with medium Urobo, medium Ijaw, medium Anang and Efik, with Igbo in their own size, but everybody on the table of discussion with a clear map of where everybody's territory begins and where it ends. So that's for that part. Now, the 2 compartments in each of these 3 blocks of the alliance, that's the Lower Niger, that's the eastern half of southern Nigeria, the western half of southern Nigeria, and the Middle Belt. In each of those 3 blocks, we'll be addressing in 2 compartments those who believe that Their future is not in unitary Nigeria, and therefore seeking self-determination. On the other side, those who think that there's something that can still come out of Nigeria for them, therefore looking for power, political power. They want to be president, they want to be governor, they want to be senator. They think there's some way to, that the union should be saved, that Nigeria should be saved, not the Nigerians that are dying. That's the difference. The ones who are looking for how to save Nigeria in some kind of way, looking for power under this constitution, they are not concerned about the Nigerians that are trapped in the defunct Federation of Nigeria, now being overtaken or being seized for permanent holding by the invading force. So from the eastern side, we begin with addressing the ones who say it is their turn to be president of Nigeria. And the presidential candidates across all the parties, we've heard about Peter Obi, we've heard about Pius Anyim, we've heard about Kingsley Moghalu, we've heard about Sam Ohabunwa, we've heard about Rochas Okorocha. I don't know who else has gone to buy form. We've heard about Ngige. We've heard about, I think, who is that one in, the one in Ebonyi that, I think I will imagine that he will have to concern himself with the governorship seat he has lost, pending what the courts will say. So, but we are addressing these candidates for political power in the East and telling them pointedly that what they are doing is the worst disservice to this opportunity we have now to recover our sovereignty. They are aiding the enemy that wants to save the life of the 1999 Constitution via election. And so, in the pretense or claim that it is their turn to be president, how does that solve the problem that is confronting us right now, that one of them will become president? How do they become? In a context that the Fulani already told us that if they give up power at this time, they will be pushed out of the Nigerian Federation. There's really no basis for even discussing the matter of going to get power, because first, it's not been given. Even if Buhari resigns today, in April of 2022, and invites one of them to come and take over without election, our position will not change, because that will now be the reinforcement of that constitution. Anybody who is prepared to come to govern Nigeria on the basis of that constitution is the enemy, is the worst enemy of the people who have been tormented under that constitution. It's as simple as that. And our concern right now is how we can escape from the stranglehold of this caliphate that is about to swallow, is exterminating us, to take our land permanently. And so, please, we speak directly to those candidates of the Southeast who are saying it's their turn. That campaign, that pursuit will not solve the existential threat that Nigeria has become for us at this time. The minimum you can do is to fold up that whole talk and go to join your people who are seeking escape from the union of death. Otherwise, you will be standing on, you are, as at this moment, in trying to go to election, you are standing with the enemy that imposed the constitution your people have rejected. That's on the one side. On the other side, we now speak to the ones in that lower Niger talking about self-determination. And their campaign has acquired a street name called Biafra Restoration. We have Masop there, we have IPOB there, we have Bile, we have all kinds of, let us just call them the Biafra group, all of them. Now, the object of your campaign is that you want to be free from Nigeria. And there are things that, that happened for which Nigeria that was working well for everybody now became a problem, an emergency from which you want to escape. The Lower Niger Congress, where I'm secretary, went round to all the Biafra groups to explain to them what we can do to get to that destination, the freedom destination, because everybody is fed up with Nigeria that has become like a monster feeding on the blood of its captives, the constituents. And so all of what we put on the table as the mechanism in our unrelenting onslaught against that constitution of the Constitution of 99 is the cage with which we are held. Together with the other people, we're not the only ones in that cage. The Yoruba are in that cage, the Jaw in that cage, the Middle Belt, Tiv, Idoma, everybody's in that cage, held by the Fulani and their British sponsors. And so what the Lower Niger Congress set in motion from the first day, and we can see it in that Ladima epistle of 2012, which predated the formation of IPOB. We said it, we laid it all out, how we can dismantle that cage so that everybody can come in a process that will not become the kind of thing we saw in 1967, where we got isolated and got killed to the tune of 3.5 million persons. That's on the general side. Now, where we are today is that all of those who did not understand what we were saying some 10 years ago, some 9 years ago, some 5 years ago, I believe that we can all see today that it is the dismantling of that constitution, working together with all the other people in the alliance, and working in cohesion with our immediate neighbors in the Niger Delta, that holds the key to escaping from that what Nigeria is doing in the place. So to that extent, of course, the whole country knows what our positions are on the various things that have been done in the name of that Biafra restoration, both the groups and the campaign itself. The good, the bad, the ugly in all of it. But that's not the subject, that's not the focus of this broadcast. The focus of this broadcast is those politicians, the source of there's a problem that has to be resolved. It is that problem, it is how that problem will be resolved that is of importance to us now. And so we are speaking to the issue and all the participants and the combatants, the political actors, the ones who have been swearing to defend and uphold the 1999 Constitution that is the source of that problem that everybody is trying to solve. Those doing Biafra are doing so because of what Eastern Nigeria has become for them. It is now a zone of death, a zone of deprivation, a zone of marginalization. Everything that could be wrong has gone wrong with that Eastern. So there's a source, there's a tap from which the problem is coming. And that tap is the Constitution. Therefore, between the ones who are seeking escape from that evil tap, from the evil offerings coming from that Constitution, side by side, the ones who are swearing to defend and uphold that source of evil. That's the political actors, whether they were governor or they were senator or they want to be president or vice president. All of those who are prepared to work, who subscribe to that 1999 Constitution in that eastern half of southern Nigeria, are the ones who are holding responsible for what has become the Biafra agitation that we see. And to that extent, we are saying it loud and clear that no one person will be punished among all of those who are doing that Biafra agitation until the last person that swore to defend and uphold the 1999 Constitution is punished. I repeat, we will see to it that no one person is punished. We're not saying they didn't do any wrong. Oh, there are many wrongs. We were the first to tell everybody the wrongs they were doing. But at this time, because we have an extraordinary situation we have to resolve, the ones who are holding on to the Constitution that is the reason they are agitating are the ones we now have to face. They are the ones we consider more complicit in what is wrong than the ones who are reacting to their own their own wrongdoing, the wrongdoing of the politicians that are holding to the 1999 Constitution. And so, in that same breath, the terror tag that has been put on that Biafra agitation, particularly the IPOB, and the detention of all kinds of people, including their leader, at this time, with the revelation that has come from the train attack, the terror attack on the train to Abuja, Kaduna from Abuja, in which the commander-in-chief, the president and commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is now, there's the proof of complicity, because there's also proof of transaction that our president and commander-in-chief commissioned a group that is terrorizing all of the other people with a promise to giving them all the lands in the... So there can be there's no bigger terror than that. And so there will be no moral justification to continue to accuse all kinds of petty terror, people who slap people or who beat up others or machete others. That's a smaller terror compared with the size of the terror represented by this Fulani invasion that is facing all the ethnic indigenous nationalities of Nigeria. And so to that extent, our position on what is going on, this proof of transaction and proof of complicity of our commander-in-chief has altered the equation for how we can proceed in the matter of dealing with agitations, particularly the terror tag that is now put on some of them. We are now saying that we can't have a situation where dragons and snakes are going about with lions, swallowing people and doing all kinds of terrible things. And then those same dragons and snakes turn around to begin to arrest the cats and rats in the neighborhood as the ones causing havoc. That's what it looks like. And so the bigger terror has been exposed for what it is, for who is doing it, for what motive. The ones who you are accusing of terror, of wanting to save themselves from the union of death, cannot be of a more urgent necessity to treat or to beat down than the ones who are doing the terror of enslaving others. We saw the Boko Haram and what they are doing, yet you bring them in and say they've repented and infuse them into the army. And you use the money from public treasury to rehabilitate them and do all kinds of things, and they are not in prison for the atrocities they've been committing. And so the Lower Niger Congress, as a constant part of NINAS, is saying to the operators of the Nigerian state at this time that there's no moral justification to continue to tag the ones who are fighting. They may be doing it wrongly. We were the first to say they were doing it wrongly. But that's only how far that goes. The question of tagging them terror and ruining that whole territory on account of what you say they are doing, turning a blind eye to the big terror that the whole world is now concerned about, that must come to an end. That pretense must now come to an end. If anybody is being held by these same people organizing the bigger terror, if any rat is being held by these dragons of terror, we insist that that must now be reversed. We insist that it's no longer sustainable to continue to pretend in something everybody can see. That's about the eastern side. We come to the western half of southern Nigeria. Again, we have the Tinubus of this world, the Fayemis, all of those. I don't know who else has bought the form. The other day, I think it was the Ayo Fayose that I saw. All of those who are saying they want to go and get political power. At the time Yoruba is on the street, at the time we saw Sunday Igboho and all of what he has had to undergo and be put through. We saw the attack in his place in Ibadan after he had come to identify with what NINAS is saying for Yoruba space. And then the Yoruba want out of Nigeria at this time. The Yoruba political actors who are going to buy form to be president of Nigeria that will sustain the constitution holding Yoruba into bondage, again we appeal to you directly. Bola Tinubu, Kayode Fayemi, Ayo Fayose. I don't know who else is planning to buy from. What you are doing is enabling the enemy to save that constitution, and that is what will reinforce not only the enslavement of Yoruba people, it also exposes them to extermination like other people. The caliphate wants more time to complete their conquest mission, exterminate the owners of the land, and Yoruba is not going to be spared of that ordeal. We already can see it. We saw it in Yewa, that Yoruba people are now living in what is it called, in IDP camp across Benin Republic because of what Fulani is doing in their space. That is on the side of those who want to go to seek for political power at a time that people are seeking for self-determination and freedom. Then the self-determination group in Yoruba land. Again, yesterday or so, today is 22nd. And it was yesterday that the exact 6 months from the date in November of 2021, when something happened there in NINAS, in which Professor Akintoye found himself resigning and claiming that all of Yoruba have left NINAS. Nobody, Yoruba did not leave NINAS. Something happened, and a lie was crafted and widely circulated. That lie caught up with those who crafted it, and it became reason why people, the one who was our chairman, Professor Akintoye, had to resign. What is that lie? It was alleged for something that was happening in one of our associate platforms in the Yoruba space, Ìlànà Ọmọ Oodua, for something that was going on in their midst for many months, for which in which NINAS had no hand, no form of involvement. Professor Akintoye consciously created the falsehood in order to cover something else, that 350 million naira was given by Yemi Osinbajo, the vice president, to Otunba Sade Olukoya, who is of Ìlànà in NINAS, to work for how Osinbajo could become president. Just falsehood. And we've said nothing about it other than the formal statement that was issued at the time. I think it was on the 20th of December or so, that there was that NINAS was intact, that only one person pulled out, and whoever is willing to go with him. That is not that the Yoruba people are very much intact and very much in what NINAS is doing. We saw the many things that NINAS had done since after that incident. But the reason this broadcast is being made is that the alliance, the NINAS Alliance, has suffered some debilitation from the spread of that falsehood. And the people who spread that falsehood are creating other falsehoods, just making our task a lot more difficult. In creating the impression that there's some kind of a question mark on the integrity of the project. How will Osinbajo be made president when we have taken a position that we will not tolerate any further elections under the 1999 Constitution? Will Osinbajo jump from window to come to be, and then they embellish that lie by putting a motive to it, that the money was taken because there was some pressure predating the incident of even the quarrel in Ìlànà, of making Osinbajo president. I now have to, having waited 6 months, yesterday was the full 6 months, having waited 6 months for some Yoruba people who are committed to what we are doing to speak up and tell Professor Akintoye that he cannot continue to peddle lies and lead Yoruba into damnation, because the Fulani are coming for the Yoruba like they are coming for other people. If Yoruba people are slaughtered today because we have not finished this business, it will be because Professor Akintoye chose to tell lies and to maintain those lies with other lies. That is how Yoruba got to where they fell into, if the Fulani will kill them because they've not recovered their land. That is the situation as at this April in 2022. And the reason we have to address this matter as we're addressing it is that if we don't, they will continue to. I've seen so many videos of where all kinds of allegations. Some say we say Igboho is a terrorist. Whoever suggested that? These are all fabrications. Some say, oh, elder of it is because Banji Akintoye is 87 years that people who believe the falsehood that his lapdog called Maxwell Adeleye was part of crafting it, that initial lie. The only thing, he embellished it and corroborated it, knowing that it was a lie, because I spoke with him when the problem began. I picked up the phone to say, can you see what is being said by your spokesman? And just as we were doing that, he went on video to now say that yes, he put names to it, he put figures to it, he put motive to it. And it became something people began to believe because it came from an 87-year-old man. And so this address is not to bring down an old man. In this project, we have dealt with older men. Some of them are still alive. Chief Ayo Adebanjo have been knowing me since Nadeko days. He will not, if you tell him that I insulted any elder, he will tell you are lying, because he knows it cannot be so. Professor Wole Soyinka have been involved with us. Of course, he will dismiss you if you came to tell him I grew up in Yoruba land. I know enough of how to relate with Yoruba elders. Bankole Oki, the senior advocate, one of my plaintiffs in the suit, God bless his soul, he was 90 years before he passed on. There was never an incident of anybody, exchanging, getting into any kind. I've never gotten into any altercations with any Yoruba elder. There are many of them that are older than Professor Banji Akintoye, still alive, and who have dealt with us across the last 20, 30 years. And so it is precisely because he is that old that the word, the proceeding from his mouth was taken as truth by those who now began to spread it. They didn't bother to verify it any further because Banji Akintoye said so. And today, I'm responding to that situation, having waited for 6 months for those who, he have been sending all kinds of people to come to say they are making peace. And I say, look, can the truth be pronounced? That's all that we want. Can he get back on video? Because he said what he said on video. Can he get back on video to say he was misled by Max, whoever misled him into saying what he said about money that was taken, knowing fully well that no money was taken? I consider it an insult that anybody will be suggesting that we took a 350 million. That is just even the most infuriating part of the matter. Looking back at where we're coming from, we didn't take money from Absalom Abubakar. We didn't take money from Obasanjo. We didn't take money from the one that came after him, Yaradua. We didn't take money from Jonathan to deflect. We didn't take money from all the people who could have given 50 times of whatever Osinbajo can offer. We didn't take money from Atiku. We sat down with him in 2016. But we didn't, we insisted on what needed to be done. And so somebody comes with a talk of, and people actually peddling it around. And the thing is putting question mark on this painstaking process that has come this far. And so let it be known, let it be said clearly that if anything goes wrong with the Yoruba self-determination campaign, it is Banji Akintoye and whoever is working with him to cause confusion in that space. Otherwise, the rest of the people are okay. Everywhere, home and abroad, they are doing what NINAS asked them to do. Together, we are going to, that constitution is gone, and people are going to take their portion. In the middle belt space, not much to say. On the one side, the ones talking about power. Iyosha Ayu, chairman, PDP. Your people are being slaughtered. And Samuel Otom, the governor, is struggling to save them by doing the kind of things that fall into what we want people to do. He has initiated a bill that became law, which is signed, to issue firearms to those who have been slaughtered, because the constitution that says he could not do that before is no longer able to prevent him. We have defeated the constitution. This is now the time where the caliphate will put the chairmanship of PDP on the Yoshayo to come and lead them to election that will save that constitution from being taken down. In the middle belt, all of those being slaughtered across the middle belt, you either go for what will save you from death, or you go with the gamble to go and get political power for whatever it will give to the people who are. And so I think we've touched the 3 blocks, and we will hang it there. Anybody who wants to find out some more should please go to www.ninasvoice.org to see where things are. We have defeated this monster. We can get ahead if we listen to ourselves, but we can also get too foolish and they will recover. I'm sure we're wiser than that. Thank you.